Checking out my first order from Broken Binding. Let's go ahead and take a look. Welcome everyone to the Zillotronics channel, and for today I'll be taking a look at my very first order that I've actually received from the Broken Binding. Broken Binding is primarily known for their subscription boxes. They have their science fiction, they have their fantasy, and their newer science fiction and fantasy kind of combo box. I'm actually subscribed to their fantasy box and their science fiction and fantasy combo box. I've been subscribed to the fantasy one since March, but I have yet to receive anything. They did have some issues with their current series and switching over to the Sewn binding. Sewn binding is one of the reasons I did actually end up subscribing, and I hadn't been subscribed previously. Now the science fiction and fantasy subscription boxes, I've actually received one of those after I've received this larger box right here. This is actually the first one that I did receive. I ordered this back in April 24th. They shipped it looks like May 5th, and I received it May 11th here in Texas in the United States, shipped from the UK. So that's actually a pretty good turnaround, about 6 days actually out their door to me, and about 2 weeks since ordering it and receiving it. I wanted to go ahead and open up this very first one that I've received here today to check out the quality, the packaging, which I really do like. This box is very nice, very apparent of what you're getting, so you have something hopefully awesome inside. This is the Illuminae Files trilogy. Ordered this when they actually offered the Of Blood and Fire Endless Edition first printing, and so I threw this in with the same order. I have yet to receive the first book because I think it actually should be arriving soonish. I received this one already, so I figured we'll go ahead and open this up, check a look, see how it compares to maybe some of my other books like from Easton Press and Folio Society. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. I'm excited to open this thing up and see what we got. Here is the package from the Broken Binding. You can see here with the yellow and black color scheme and the Broken Binding text and logo. Box feels super durable. I mean, it's a very well packaged. I can tell nothing is flopping around inside. Whenever I order a book, especially a deluxe edition or a higher quality premium book from Amazon, they just toss a book in there. The box is 4 times the size of the book. It ricochets on the inside, and if I receive it, it's usually mangled like something from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing opened up, and we'll see how it's actually packaged on the inside, or I can drop it. Durability test, and let's go ahead and get this thing going. First book, and it's got this, I'm not sure what this paper is called, but it's like a, almost like an improved bubble wrap or something like that, but it's made of a probably recyclable paper. And if you're familiar with Folio Society, this is how they ship their books as well, and I've never had an issue with Folio Society books getting damaged in transit, so this looks like it's well packaged, reinforced. The box is appropriate size to the 3 books within. And yeah, so nothing super fancy, but it's definitely typically a very good packaging method where shipping books like these. So let's go ahead and get this little wrapping paper off. Now we have a little bit of bubble wrap. And a Christmas present within. So I got a little tape here. It almost looks like it's Christmas time. So maybe that's how it's going to feel when I get this thing completely opened up. I'm pretty bad at unwrapping presents, so yeah, it's got a nice little Illuminae Files sticker. And let's see if I can get this opened up. Probably could have done that a little smoother, but here we go. Here we have book 1, 2, and 3. Got Illuminae, Gemini, and Obsidio. I'm not really familiar with the book series, but they had it on sale. They are Smith-Sewn bound, which is a highlight for me. I like to collect mostly Smith-Sewn bound books, typically acid-free paper, something that's going to last a lifetime. One of the issues potentially with Smith-Sewn bound books is if you do these sprayed edges, sometimes you do see lines between the signatures and stuff like that. So it's not won't be quite as crisp as a perfect bound book. For me, that's not a big issue. I've never been super huge on sprayed edges. I think they look awesome though. I mean, here is the first book. It has a nice feel to it. It feels like a nice high-end dust jacket, not like one of those wrinkly, cheap paper ones. And the hardback itself looks pretty sweet. It's not just a plain hardback. Got some nice detail, silver foil work. It's got a nice orange color with some binary on the back. Probably can decipher that if it says anything, but here is the dust jacket. Pretty cool. It is a signed edition that I picked up. Signature here from both of the authors. A little bleed through from the text behind it. The pages are fairly thin. They're not like super thick papers, but it's not going to affect readability by any means. But you probably see here, I like the pages feel nice. We'll flip through the book. I believe it probably has a couple pieces of artwork in here. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. I don't have the listing in front of me, but the print itself is crisp. I don't see any crazy print defects or anything like that. The black pages with the white text is pretty cool. I always like when books do that. But overall, it feels nice. Like I said, as long as you don't mind relatively thin paper, where you can see a little bleed through from the back. For me, it's not going to affect me reading this. I will read this. Every book I get, I read. Though it might take me some time to get to this series because I am reading through a bunch of others. There are a yellow ribbon bookmark, as you can see here. It didn't come with like a physical bookmark. I guess maybe that's just for the subscriptions. And you can see here the individual signatures right here for the Smith-Sewn binding. So this first one looks quite nice. Get this dust jacket back on. Oh, I want to show you guys this. Pretty sweet artwork here. Pretty cool. All right, book 2. Another very nice dust jacket. Blue with silver foil, looks pretty sick. With a baby blue ribbon bookmark. Same style, sprayed edges here. And of course another full artwork here. Double signature. Same paper, thin with a little bleed through, but it's what to expect. I mean, it's I think about $35, $40 per book for a book, that looks this nice is a good deal. Especially when you compare it like something like Folio Society, Easton Press. They're more expensive. I mean, they're higher quality. Paper's thicker. Binding's a little bit better typically. But a lot of them don't come with the sprayed edges and some other negatives when compared to these. Only thing that kills it for me, being the U.S., is these things are expensive shipping. So hope for a shipping deal or something like that, because the shipping cost is about 50%, 30 to 50% of the price of the book. Unless you get a series, and it's a little bit better. But individual books, you pay $35 for the book, you're paying $15 for shipping. Now you're at $50 for a $35 book. So book 2, pretty sweet. And we have book 3, more artwork. Thought I saw some art in here. Nope, there you go. A little bit of art. Flip right through it. There you go. It's kind of cool how they make it look like a journal or something like that. Lots of cool different pieces in here. It's almost like a log. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this series at all. This sounded interesting. This one has the gray hardback with silver foil. I do like the hardback. I love a nice looking hardback. I'm not usually a dust jacket fan, even though these ones do feel quite nice. I typically go with the clamshell, or the I forgot the name of it, but the sleeves or whatever that they slide into, slip cases. All right, so now I'll go back to book one. Super quick, book one, here we have, and I'm gonna do a couple comparisons with some other books that I've received relatively recently. So let's go ahead and start with Grimoire from Oak Press, I think this was, Grim Oak Press. So this one is also Smith Sewn bound, no fancy, sprayed edges. This is like a relatively cheap book from them. I'm waiting for my lettered edition, Otherland, I think it was, Tad Williams book. That'll be a real comparison. This one, of course, came in decently packaged, but not nearly as good as the broken binding packaging. This is, nothing fancy with this one. Paper is much thicker. It's more tactile, less bleed through, as you can see here as a comparison. And I believe this one's signed, maybe? I can't remember. Oh yeah, here we go. Signed by a number of authors. This is a collection of short stories by numerous authors, you can see here. And here we go. It's in here somewhere. Here we go. Number of authors, number of short stories. Haven't read this yet. Didn't receive it too long ago. Yeah, no, there's a little bit of art in here. So yeah, a little bit of art. Crisp. Definitely prefer the thicker paper like this one, but the binding itself is fairly similar. This is more of the curved. I forgot the name of it, but it's got the curved. This is the flat binding. So I forgot what the term for that, for the the pros out there. You mentioned in the comments, the slightly curved to it versus the flat. Flat ones I think look a little nicer on the shelf. Curved ones not so much, because you lose a little bit of the thing. And plus, another thing to note, just a plain hardback. A little bit of gold writing on the edge there. So definitely overall look of the broken binding ones is much nicer than this relatively cheap Grim Oak Press book. Next up is Easton Press, Neuromancer, William Gibson. This is the signed edition right here. I wish they actually didn't put signed edition. It's kind of weird. Of course, the feeling, if you like their thin leather or whatever they have versus, typical cardboard hardback. No dust jacket. This doesn't have any kind of slipcase, but it does have, this nice gold gilding. And then they got I haven't stretched the spines on any of these books yet. It has a certificate of this, certificate right here showing that it's a, authentic book. And also Smith Sewn bound with a bookmark. And paper is thicker, feels smoother, I guess you could say. Smoother than the Grim Oak Press book. I would say the paper on this feels a little bit nicer than either of the books. Some people love Easton Press, some hate it. I prefer, I do like their deluxe edition, which this isn't, and their signed editions. I would probably not normally order a non-signed or deluxe edition from Easton Press, because I actually do prefer Folio, just the look of them. But dimensionally, the Easton Press is smaller than the broken binding book and the Grimoire. But next up is a relatively cheaper Folio Society book. This one does come with a slipcase, like pretty much all of the Folio Society books. It does have the same flat binding, Smith Sewn, as broken binding. It is a little bit larger than the broken binding book, but then again, Folio Society is all over the place with their, some books are huge, some are small, some are slipcase, some are clamshell. But this one does. A lot of their books don't have the sprayed edges, but this one does. Didn't mention, but this is the William Gibson Neuromancer. I actually have the Easton Press version and Folio Society one. This one has a ton of awesome artwork. It's not signed or anything fancy like that. It'd be nice if I opened it up right side up. But I love the multicolor print. Paper feels amazing in the Folio Society. Probably, I'm going to say, the best of the three, or best of the four. Super thick, and it's got far superior full color art. The only art that I see typically a little bit better is the Easton Press Deluxe editions with the full color art with the clear protection. They have actually a sheet over the artwork to keep it from, I guess, getting smudged into the actual pages. But so yeah, but I mean, this is a $100 book, $35 book. This is still looks amazing. Smells nice too, so that's good. Yeah, so this book by itself costs as much as the entire trilogy from Broken Binding. So that's a closer look. Hopefully that that answered some questions for you guys, if you had any, or it's just mostly me just enjoying myself looking at a bunch of new books I've got. I have a couple more from them that I'm going to open up here shortly. And yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. That about wraps it up. Overall, super happy with the books that I've received from the Broken Binding and my very first package from them. Like I said, the quality is not Folio Society, even some of the Easton Press ones, but overall the quality for the money is very nice. They're better than the books you can pick up at like Barnes & Noble or most of the books from Amazon. And just love the art direction on the cover. The dust jacket feels super nice. The sprayed edges look amazing. I love getting the book with the signatures. It's always a bonus. And like I said, I paid $100. I was probably saying $100, but it's 100 pounds, which is, I believe, 100 pounds is like $133. I paid 13 pounds, which is maybe 18 bucks or something like that for shipping, but that's for 3 books. I think that includes also the other book that I ordered in the same order. So maybe 10 pounds or whatever after you factor in the cost of the other book. So maybe we'll just say 110 pounds, about 140 bucks. You know, is that $48, $45 a book? And for that, definitely I think this is worth it, even in the U.S. with the higher shipping costs and the conversion between pounds and the U.S. dollar. So, book's great. Well, looks great. Hopefully it reads as good as it looks. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Check out my website, zilla.com, Z1LLA.com. Yeah, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next video. Anyways, have a good one. See ya.